Hello everybody, it's CJ Wiley back with some more stories from the road. Back in the real pool hustling days where there were road players, this was really the 70s and 80s. It really started burning out in the 90s. I went pro in 91 and really there just wasn't anybody left to gamble with. There were still some great gamblers, don't get me wrong, but the road playing days were dwindling down at that time. So I decided to go pro. And my first tournament was in Toronto, Ontario, the Dufferin Classic. I went up there, and I'd never played in a big pro tournament before. So, there was Efren Reyes there, and Earl Strickland, and David Howard, who ended up winning it, who was a friend of mine, and, just a slew of great legendary players. So I was playing really well because I was still, in gambling form. And a lot of those guys had heard of me, but they'd never seen me before. So I kind of ambushed them a little bit. And sometimes you have an advantage when they don't know who you are and they're a little leery of you. So anyway, I was fortunate enough to have wins against Efren Reyes and Earl Strickland and Jimmy Rempe and Mike Lebron and the best player at the time from Canada. Can't remember, Chris was his name, Chris White, I think. Anyway, I ended up getting fourth in the tournament, but I could tell that all those guys really did play better than me for some reason. I always had trouble getting out of the gate. I was a slow starter, and when gambling, that was okay because my partners just knew that when I got into a game, I would go back and forth or even be behind for a period of time, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. But at some point, I would get in stroke and I would win. And a lot of times I'd win like 15 or 20 games in a row. So we just raise the bet until I get in stroke, and we'd bust the place and go to the next town usually. So worked out well, but you can't do that playing in professional tournaments against the likes of Efren Reyes and Earl Strickland and Alan Hopkins, Johnny Archer, Buddy Hall, those guys. They don't make many mistakes. So anyway, I ended up taking a lesson up there from a guy that trained snooker champions. And he showed me something that made me want to change my game. He showed me how important the left foot was. See, the left foot controls the left side of the body, including the left hand. And the left hand really is the aiming hand. So if you've got your left foot in different positions all the time, that really means your left hand's in different positions every time, and you're having to make these adjustments and you might not even realize it. So it makes the game so much more difficult. So when I learned how to stand properly, it took me about 3 weeks before I started competing again. It probably took me a week to 2 weeks to really get where it started to be comfortable, because that left foot has to be parallel to the line of the shot every time so that you can adjust it one way or the other to intentionally overcut the ball usually, and favor the inside of the pocket. I call it the 3-part pocket system. The pocket you need to look at as a zone. But I explain all that stuff in my instructional material. But, the main thing that I think players are missing is they don't have their left foot in the proper position so that the aiming of the game becomes easy. There's really no aiming systems, no secret aiming systems. I was on the road for years and years, and nobody ever told me, hey, don't go play so-and-so because they got some kind of secret aiming system. That's ridiculous. But what people do that are champion players is they position the left side of their body so that, like in my case, I feel like I'm aiming with my left foot and I'm shooting the shot out of the center of my body. Now, there's a whole technique to be able to do that, and I share that in my instructional material. Actually, the last 7 new videos that I uploaded goes through that specifically at my private membership site, www.masteringpocketbilliards.com. That's the site that I'm coaching people. You don't get to go on the road anymore with players and learn like I used to, so I'm going to provide that same opportunity and it's less than $10 a month, and I'm going to continue to upload new videos. I'm going to have guest stars to show their secrets. I'm going to have question and answering, video analysis, and I'm just going to keep adding to it. So the value will be there. So join me at www.masteringpocketbilliards.com and see what I got going there. And I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. So anyway, until next time, CJ Wiley, over and out.